You know, for as long as we've been around, we've been obsessed with the future. We've looked at the stars, we've listened to prophets, we've built algorithms, all to try and answer this one massive question, especially when it comes to how it all ends. We're always asking when, right? When is it all going to wrap up? But what if, and this is the core idea we're digging into today, what if that entire focus on the timing is actually the wrong question to be asking? To really get our heads around this shift in thinking, let's start with a story, a really personal one actually, about a man named William and a prediction he was absolutely certain about. So the year is 1975. William has just been baptized, and for him, the signs are everywhere and they are crystal clear. Looking at everything going on in the world, he's thinking, wow, I got in just under the wire, right before the final curtain call. So check this out. In the mid-70s, William sees everything happening as undeniable proof. He's sure of it. But then, 14 years go by, and the Berlin Wall, a symbol of the very world order he thought was final, it comes crashing down. And well, here we are today, decades later, and the world is still turning. And you know, William's story, it's not some one-off thing. It actually gets at a much bigger question, a kind of tension that people of faith have wrestled with for a long, long time. This feeling of an apparent delay. I mean, people have waited their entire lives. Their parents waited, their grandparents waited. And this long stretch of time, this apparent delay, it naturally makes you wonder. You start asking, did we get the timing wrong? Are we missing something here? And this is the pivot, the big aha moment. Our source material puts forward this really radical idea. It says, hey, maybe your focus is just a little bit off. It is not the timing of Christ's return that is of greatest importance. So the key takeaway isn't the when. So that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If we're supposed to stop looking at the calendar, if we're not meant to be cosmic detectives trying to crack the code, then what are we supposed to be doing? Where should we be putting all that energy? Well, the answer comes from a famous parable, and it's boiled down into a simple three-word instruction: occupy till I come. This is it. This is the core command. In the story, a nobleman is about to go on a long trip. He gives his servants some resources, and his final instruction isn't wait around for me or try to guess the day I'll be back. Nope, it's just occupy. But what does occupy even mean here? It's not about just sitting around, taking up space. It's an action word. The original language implies something way more active. It essentially means do business. Get to work. Be productive with what you've been given. Okay, but doing business can still sound a little vague, right? What does that actually look like? Well, to make it super clear, our source material gives us two totally different real-world examples: a giant wall and a humble fisherman. And these two stories are perfect because they show you the whole spectrum. One is this huge, public, all-hands-on-deck kind of project. The other, it's quiet, it's personal, it's one-on-one. So you've got these two ways to occupy. On the one hand, you have Nehemiah's wall, a massive community effort, literally rebuilding a city with a shared public purpose. On the other hand, you have the story of Tom and the fisherman, a simple, personal connection that creates a one-on-one impact. All right, let's talk about that wall. The people of Jerusalem are back from exile and their city is a wreck. Their job? Rebuild. And the key thing here, the detail the source points out, is how they did it. The book of Nehemiah repeats the phrase next to them over and over again, more than 30 times. It wasn't about one hero. It was about everyone, side by side, doing the hard work of fixing what was broken. That is occupying. Now, let's flip the script completely to Tom and Phil. This isn't some huge construction project. It's just a guy, Tom, who's out fishing. He starts talking to a stranger, Phil, who doesn't know anything about the Bible, but he's curious. Tom doesn't give him a big sermon. He just spends time with him, answers his questions, shows him he cares. And through that simple, human investment, Phil's life is totally changed. That's occupying too. So you see, whether you're building a city wall with your entire community or just talking to a stranger by a lake, the message is the same. It's all about finding your purpose, right here in the present. The whole point is to make this mental shift. It's about taking your eyes off that distant horizon of the future and focusing them squarely on the work that's right in front of you today, on the business that you've been given to do. And that brings us right back around to the final and really the most important question, the one this has all been leading to. It's not, when does it all end? The real question is about your part in the story, right now. Are you a wall builder, or are you meant to be talking to a fisherman? What business have you been given to do?